right here. So, all right. Something like that. Linear functions. What's the root word you hear in linear?
Lin.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Line. So
You marked Lin. There's no E where you marked. Look.
I did. Let me be more specific. Right there.
Punch in the E. There you go. Okay, that one says line.
Thank you, baby. Look, linear functions are functions that are going to create lines. Shh, please. Remember I told you that a function in general, y'all, first word here, just a simple function is a relation where the x value has exactly one y value. The girl has exactly one boyfriend, however you want to think about it. A linear function is a straight line when you look at your graph. A linear function is a function that makes a straight line. But technically, to be a function, it can't be a vertical line. So right on here, non-vertical. Because it would fail the vertical line test if it was a vertical line, you know what I mean? Like a vertical line would fail a vertical line test. Yeah, it says non-vertical. When we look at our linear functions, we want to make sure they are in what we call slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form looks like what, y'all? That's just up. Y'all remembering y'all work, or you just smart? Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And, oh, can you see that? And a linear function, y'all, is going to have one independent variable and then one dependent variable. With the independent variable always being my girl the x, and the dependent being the y. Okay, that is true. Random comments. So let's come back to this here. Reading, math, and all. If you are writing, I'm gonna emphasize, if you're writing in slope-intercept form, you need to know two things. You need to know the slope and what else? Thank you, the y-intercept. Do you know or remember which letter represents the slope?
B.
The M.
Wait, no. No, I said M.
Yes. The y-intercept is the letter B.
Wait, Y equals M.
Y equals M plus B. No, baby. The B is the y-intercept. The M is the slope.
Yeah, that's what I think. B's Y.
To find your y-intercept, y'all, all you're looking for is the place where the line crosses the y-axis specifically. That's why it's called a y-intercept. Another thing to remember, y'all, your y-intercept is going to always be the place where x is 0. Let's stop and think about that. If x is 0, that means you're not going left or right. So you're on the y-axis. So the y-intercept, I'm going to put this in parentheses, is always the place where x equals 0. And now, to find our slope, we talked about the y-intercept, but to find the slope, you're going to always want to pick 2 points on the line. And if you're picking 2 points on the line, that's when I'm giving you the coordinates. But if I give you a graph, you're just using rise over run. So that's what I want you to put here, because remember the M represents slope. Remember I told you the M was slope? Well, slope is found when you're looking at a graph by finding your rise over your run. I will zoom in on this so y'all can see what I just wrote. Slope is found by doing your rise over run. But if I give you ordered pairs, remember the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. We're going to do 2 examples of writing linear functions. The first one, I'm just going to be real, it's super easy. The second one, not so much.
Wait, what are you
This
writing
one
down?
involves you think a little bit harder. That's all. I'm going to move it up a tad bit, but I'm not going to cross this part right here. Right? All right, so using a graph, and this is on your Delta map as well. To use a graph to write a linear function, or the same thing we could say a linear equation, you need to do the same thing. You need to find your slope and your y-intercept. Well, it's pretty simple when I give you a graph, because you can just count for the slope, put your phone away, please, so you can understand what we're doing, my math. And then our y-intercept is just the place where it's on the y-axis, okay? So, linear function, write the word equation, because a linear function is the same thing as a linear equation. And our linear equations are written in this form, which means I need to know what is my M and what is my B.
Hey, let's do that rise and run.
Yes. Before you do that, I want to show you something. Our equation is always going to have that right there. The only thing we're filling in is the M and the B. I have to say that because so many people, when it's time to write the answer, don't put the Y and the X in there. That's an important part of the equation. So the only thing we're filling in is the M and the B. All right, so look over at your graph. What's my M? I heard it. Somebody say it again, please. It's 2. Because we're counting, just remember I pick any 2 points. I don't care what 2 points you pick. I'm gonna pick from here to here, and that's up 2. And then from here to here, that's over 1. Do not leave it 2 over 1. Write it as 2. So if my M is 2, I'm gonna put that right here. Almost done with your equation, because now all you have to do is find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. I heard it at 1. So come over here and put this in the place of the B. This is your answer for your linear equation. So that's all it's asking you to do. Super easy, right? See what I mean? You know what I was saying about you don't need scratch work for Delta math? Because it's a question like that. Now the next one's a little different. Okay. Get my strength up for this one. All right, we got this. We're going to write another linear function, which is the same thing as an equation. All that heavy breathing like you got asthma. Come on now, stay with me. Well, I mean, I know you do, but you're not the one who's doing that. It's just somebody who's being extra over there.
I got asthma.
Okay, Mom, now get it together.
I got asthma.
Y equals mx plus b. I don't see anything over there that kept you from touching your phone with that. All right, so here we go.
I'm trying to zoom in on the board.
Gotcha. So what I did right here, I went on and wrote down the part of the equation, because all I have to do in this is fill in my M and my B. Okay? So to get the M, pretty simple. Use your 2 points. There are 3 points that are given. This is a point, -2,5, -4,10, -6,15. Pick 2 of them. It doesn't matter which one. Say what, babe? First 2. Sounds good to me. So if I come over here and set up the formula, my M is going to equal 10 minus 5 over -4 minus a -2. Thank you. -4 minus a -2 is -4 plus 2. I gotta say that because that's a common mistake people make. So when I subtract, I'm going to get 5 over -2. This is my M, so come over here. See this M? I'm gonna come down here and put it right here. Sometimes it might help to put that arrow over there because I want you to know what you're doing with it. You're putting your M right there. Now we want to find our B.
Oh, when it gets to 0, so you need to, when the X is 0.
Right. So like, what I hear what you're saying. She's like saying, okay, so we want to see where X is at 0. So we could just subtract to get there, which is right. You can. Only problem with that is when I'm giving you your ordered pairs and they're not at intervals where you can just count them. You get something that's a decimal or fraction. So that's why I want to show you a method that always works. Head up, please. Method that always works. Thank you very much, darling. Thank you. Stay with me. Okay, so here we go. I want to find my B, and I have this equation here. Stay with me. To find the B, all I have to do is substitute Y, M, and X. Make yourself a note. You need to substitute the Y, the M, and the X, and that will help us solve for B. Alright, so I know what the M is. The M right here was -5/2. Whatever we use for X is gonna be multiplied by the M because see, look up here, they're touching. And then there's an equal sign up here, see that? So what I'm missing is whatever we're gonna choose for my X and my Y. The X and the Y are gonna come from where? The chart. Does it matter which one I pick? Nope. Pick either point. And some of you, I feel like you should pick one and then somebody next to you pick the other one. I mean, just to prove what I'm saying. It doesn't matter which point you pick. You're gonna get the right answer as long as you solve it correctly. So I'm gonna pick these right here. Guess I'll pick this. Feel free to pick something different, no matter to me. But I'm just gonna pick that one just to show you that your answer will be the same. Now, if I pick this one that I highlighted, that means my X is gonna be -4. So I'm gonna put that right here. And my Y is gonna be 10. So that goes here. The one thing we're solving for is the B. So I'm gonna bring down plus B. Look at your equation. You now have your Y, your M, and your X. Since you have all those values on there, solve for B. This is just a simple equation. If I'm solving for B, then I need to first multiply these right here by each other, and then move it over to where the 10 is, okay? If I multiply the -5/2 times -4, I'm gonna do the math in my head, 10. I'm gonna get 10. So this here becomes 10. This is already 10. So I see all I did was bring it down. And then this right here is the B. Can you see now that all I need to do is subtract the 10? Because that's the only way I'm going to move it over. So I bring this over here by subtracting it, -10 minus 10. And that means my B is 0. Now let's be honest. You don't have to write +0 to finish that equation. Because if your B is 0, it's not necessary to write it, but this is where it would go if it was something besides 0. You understand? Our equations are set from, our M, and then we gotta get our B. We have our M and our B. So I'm gonna circle my final answer, and I'm not including that part because it's not necessary.
What y'all use?
Is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
a little bit.
I'm gonna do another one like that. Yeah, it's not that bad. I'll do another one like that. Hey, why don't I do one right now while it's fresh on the brain?
Sure.
All right, flip over to the back real quick. Let me show you one the exact same way you just did. And I'm gonna do one that has a decimal in it, so that way you can use on your own. But we're going back to that word problem though, so don't think you're done. We're going back to that word problem. Yeah, we love word problems. Like you said, you gotta read it now.
So we're calling the
So true. But it's on your quiz, so I gotta make sure I go over that. All right, so look at number 2, because this is just like the problem we just did on the front, okay? Put your phone down, please, and focus right here. We are writing a linear function, which means, y'all, that's the same thing as writing a linear equation. So we're just writing the equation. What is the form for the equation? What's our slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. So that means in my answer, come down here, because I'm going to write my answer down here, and we're just going to jump ahead to that. My answer is going to have a y, an equal sign, and it's going to have an x. We're not going to put the m and the b in place until we know what they are. You understand? Can't make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're looking up here. So let's first find the m. We've got a chart. Pick 2 points. Doesn't matter what you pick. First two sound good to me. So if we pick these 2 points here, then that means I'm using -1,6 and 312. So I'm going to come over and use the formula m equals y2 minus y1, 6, x2 minus x1, 3 minus a -1. Thank you, 3 plus 1. This will give me 6/4, but you better simplify it. Thank you, 3/2. since this is my M, look what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna bring it over here and write 3/2 in this spot. Now I need to find the B. I don't know if you remember what I said earlier, but I'm gonna revert back to this up here at the top. We need to put the Y, the M, and the X in place so we can solve for the B. Remember, I get the Y and the X from our chart.
So do you just not do anything with 7 and 18?
I mean, I can use them right now if you want. Let me use them. Because if I use a 7 and 18, this could be my X and my Y. So we pick a point. It doesn't matter which one. I'll use this one, 7 and 18. Now I'm gonna come over here and put them in place. So see where there's a Y right here? The Y is gonna be the 18. See where there's an M? We know the M is gonna be 3/2. And look, we need our X. Our X is multiplied by our M. Our X was 7. And then what we don't know is the B. Do not be scared because you know you can use your calculator. So I'm multiplying these two by each other, okay? And that's gonna give me 21/2, which is the same thing as 10.5. Now I'm just bringing this down, bringing that down, and then my plus B. What do I do to move this over? Thank you. You can subtract 21/2, or you can subtract it as 10, because they're the same thing, you understand? 21/2 that I have here is the same thing as 10.5. When you do so, you're gonna have that your B equals what value? That's right. It's 7.5, which is the same thing if we did it as a fraction as 15/2. So it really doesn't matter which one I put in place here. I can put 7.5 or 15/2 because I want it to look fluid and the same. I'm going to use the fraction, but I just take the B and look, I put it right here. So that means I have plus 15/2. And this is my final answer as a linear equation. I know it's a lot, but it's not a lot. I mean, when
You
you
trying to tell me that ain't a lot right there? Come on now.
it's really not. I mean, it could be a lot if you get confused with the numbers.
That's all.
You find your M?
Like,
I mean, you just find your M, you put X, Y, and M in place. It's all for me. That's it.
we got us off for B, or you just want to do it?
Solving for B gives you the y-intercept. So
No, we
that's,
already had the Y, and it's a 3/2. What's that?
the 3/2 is the M. See, right here, the 3/2. This is my slope. So that's my slope. The B is the y-intercept. Okay, let's get this one word problem. I know we'll good time here. Pay attention, please. Flip back to the front.
This looks like it was so easy to do.
Well, it's easy.
Birthday.
Yeah, the first page is fire, but the first page always.
This too much on birthday.
Line. That's what we're doing. Really one. Want some cheese, that one?
Older.
No, not yogurt, nothing. Come on, let's be serious for a second. All right, I'm gonna let you read the problem to yourself right quick. Read that problem, and then I'll elaborate what it's actually asking you.
A printer ink, we're about to deal with the billions. Like, my mom, she'll come home freaking
What's the problem?
freaking out because printer ink is like more expensive than, like, yeah.
Okay, you still haven't read the problem.
I did.
Well, we know, man.
I've been read the problem while you were doing all the other stuff.
Oh, okay, good.
I got bored.
First LB class.
You gotta read some words.
Stop, Miss Brenda, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still need help finding B, because
if it's up to me, we just gonna stay messing around here because it don't make sense, it's not clicking. I can find slow, but B.
So when I give you time to do the next round on the back, then I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna work with you.
And me.
Oh, that is me.
Then I'll be right there.
Well, yeah, better one on Bob.
Okay, so let's go. The Printer Ink Company, okay, come back to me, please. Lock in. The Printer Ink Company has two different plans. I'm gonna highlight a different color so you can see which one I'm talking about specifically. The first plan is 5 cents per copy. The second one is 1 cent per copy plus a $5 monthly fee. We're gonna write a linear function. Remember when I say linear function, that just means we're gonna write the linear equation. That just means the equation. And we're writing a linear equation for both of your plans, and then we're gonna graph. Our point of graphing is that we wanna find at what number of copies will the plans be the same amount. So I'm gonna start with plan 1, and I'm gonna write that one in red. And we're gonna write the equation for plan 1. If we're writing a linear function, we need our y, our equal sign, and our x. Our slope, which is the m value, that's gonna be our rate. When I say your rate is whatever you have per hour, per mile, per copy. So look at the first one in red. Y'all, what is our rate for that?
5 cents per
Perfect.
copy.
So I'm gonna write 0.05 per copy. Now, the y-intercept, or the b, is gonna be from where we started. Where is this plan starting at? How much money is the monthly fee for this plan? Now, I'm still on the red one. There's not one. So this would be plus 0, but remember, we don't have to write the plus 0. So I'm just gonna focus on this part here. This is my equation for plan 1. And I forgot to say plan 1. So now I'm gonna do plan 2. Plan 2, this one, we're gonna write our y equals, and we're gonna skip to write an x. And now let's figure out our m. Remember, the m is the rate, the slope. So look at your problem. What's my rate?
0.01.
Thank you, which is 1 penny. That is my rate, but where are we starting from? What is my
5.
So this one is plus 5. You have just successfully written the two equations that represent what it is in the word problem. Real simple, okay? Now to graph the plans. Don't worry, it's not difficult. I got you back. Promise. Let's start with plan 1. What, babe?
Can't you just put a 1 under the slope and then just start like, for the first one, since there's no y-intercept, you can just start like going up and over, right?
Yeah, from 0 though. From 0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little different since we're talking about money
What is
values.
this wonky looking graph, you guys?
I got you. Look, we're gonna do it based on the number of copies that's at the bottom. Like, you really need to pay attention right here, please. So that way I won't get you lost. Some people are probably already lost. But I'm starting with the one in red. Plan 1 has a y-intercept of 0. So that means we're starting down here, y'all. Look at the bottom, starting here at $0. But this plan says you're going to pay 5 cents for every copy you get. So that means if I make 25 copies,
25 times.
how much is that gonna be?
300.
Yeah, okay, let's write that down. Remember, it's
Wait, what is it?
5 cents times every copy you make, right?
Wait, am I supposed to be finding 25 times 5?
Yes. Well, not times 5.
It's 100 times. 25 times what?
Yeah.
Oh, 12.5. What?
So you know you can use your calculator, babe. You know you can use your calculator.
I'm using my phone calculator.
Whichever you use. Look what I wrote in red. This is what I want you to understand. I'm asking you if it's 5 cents for every copy. Well, it's 5 times 25. $1.25.
So we gotta
So-
line it up.
Yeah. So look, And that means I'm gonna go over to 25 right here, see? But then I'm gonna come up to $1.25, which puts me right in the middle here.
And then draw a dot.
Yes. And now, how much is it for 50 copies?
It's gonna be like,
$2.50.
Perfect. So now that means I'm gonna come over here on the bottom, y'all come over to 50, and then come up to 250 right here. And the next one would be,
$3.75.
good job. So I'm coming over to 75 at the bottom, and coming up to 375, which is in between 350 and 4. Are you writing this down or are you just sitting there like this?
I'm just sitting there like.
Write it down. Oh gosh, you don't have to keep writing these here. So let me just be real. This right here, you don't have to write what I'm this scratch
as
mark.
long as you get the line.
Yeah, as long as you can get the points in the right place, you don't have to write this. I'm only writing this so you can see where I'm getting my numbers from. Because the next one's going to be at $5, and the one after that's going to be at $6.25. So let me just keep going with my graph. Go over to 100, come up to $5. Go over to 125, come up to $6.25. Go over to 150, come up to 7. Did I do it right? 725?
It's 625.
Oh, 625. My bad.
625 and then.
I went too far up. Sorry. No, this one's right. This is
that's
625.
right. No, I said 50.
Okay, so I was right. Now, plan 2. I'm writing this down so you'll know where I'm getting the numbers from, but you don't really have to write this down. It just says that you're multiplying 1 penny per copy. 1 penny per copy. Please tell me that you understand what I'm doing here.
1 penny per copy.
Yes, so that means if I'm doing 25 copies,
25 pennies. What? Is that not right? You said.
I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying it's right. It's just funny the way you said it, that's all. So, oh, but I did forget one thing, forgive me. It had a starting point, somebody said that. You have to add 5 to all of these, because these, on this plan, have a monthly fee of 5. So, I'm gonna do the math from here, okay?
Oh, is that the y-intercept is 5, so you add 5?
So you're adding to that 5 every time, yes. So let me do that, I'll go ahead and put my point on 5. The one that's plan 2, I'm using blue for that. It starts at 5. So right here on the y-axis, you have to start at 5. But if I make 25 copies, I will be at what amount of money?
25 cents.
$5.25, good job.
I thought you said.
You're right, it is 25 cents, but you're adding on to the
Oh,
5.
because, yeah, okay.
Okay, so the next one, I'm adding.
You're making me look even more dumb.
Please stop. The next one puts me at $5.50. And then $5.75, $6, $6.25. I can keep going with this. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Where am I getting the numbers from? You notice every one of these here, it's just taking me up 25 cents, you know? So from 5 to 5.25, 5.50, 5.75, 6. Let me draw my lines here.
So they cost the same as 6.
Yep, they will cost the same at $6.25, but it's actually asking for how many copies will that be. So, in other words, look at the number down here. So like right here, see, this is where they cross, but how many copies is that? 125. The one on the quiz won't be this difficult. Or I gave you the difficult one for the example. I promise, the one on the quiz is not gonna be that difficult.
Yeah, that's pretty challenging.
I need for us to do, the one on the back though.